Unsurprisingly, a new striker is expected to be targeted. As mentioned above, the Blues have suffered at center forward and Ivan Toney is the favorite for the role. Toney continues to attract interest from a number of clubs ahead of his return to action in January. With 15 months left on his contract, Brentford have a good chance of securing the big money they need. There is talk of a fee of £100 million, and based on past experience, Chelsea cannot turn down a high asking price. In a dream scenario, an attractive project under Pochettino will lure Toney to Stamford Bridge and give them an outlet for the rest of the season. Staying in attack, Federico Chiesa could be a new winger on their radar. According to Tutto Juve, Chelsea are considering a move for the Juventus star to London rivals Arsenal. However, the argument that Pochettino needs a new fullback is strong. Mykhailo Mudryk and Cole Palmer have come into their own this season. And with Noni Madueke and Raheem Sterling, things are very flat. Now perhaps the best news for Cobham is the return of Nkunku. According to reports, the forward will make his first start for next month's Carabao Cup clash with Newcastle due to a knee injury. Former RB Leipzig and #039 returns and #039 new signing and number 039 feel about it. Not only do goals need to be scored, but his attacking formation between the lines and threat from deep could cause a surprise push for the UEFA Champions League places. Via Getty Images, Chelsea fans can rest easy on Sunday before welcoming league leaders Manchester City, as the third point in their midfield looks to be in order. Enzo Fernandez was a significant deficit in the middle of the park against Tottenham before being substituted in the 65th minute. As most players seem to panic for 15 minutes when Spurs end number 039, if I fear Chelsea's high line and young team, Fernandez's composure and quality on the ball would be very useful to bounce the most flexible wing traps. As it happened, Mauricio Pochettino was forced to continue without his key player. Fernandez, who has still really impacted the team in terms of goals and results, has been one of the most reliable performers this season and keeps things organized. He has forged a relationship with Conor Gallagher and Moises Caicedo that promises to be central to Pochettino's future plans in more ways than one. From his roaming position, moving from number 10 to number 6 before recently settling somewhere in between, Fernandez completed the most third passes, covering long passing yards, through balls and switches. She later reassured fans on social media that she was fine, writing, "Thank you all for the messages. I'm good, working on my recovery to go into the weekend in the best possible way." Blue heart emoji. And quote, notably, the 22-year-old was not pictured with the likes of Robert Sanchez, Axel Disses, Raheem Sterling, and even Christopher Nkunku in training on Tuesday or Wednesday. But the panic now appears to have passed as further pictures released by the club on Thursday showed the player back on the pitch with his teammates. Before we host a team like City, who rely so much on the middle of the park to control their games, it will give Pochettino and Chelsea a big boost, especially when he faces Mateo Kovacic. The return to Stamford Bridge. Former Premier League champions Chelsea are pressuring Serie A champions Napoli to sell their star player Victor Osimhen in the January transfer window. The Nigeria international was impressive for Napoli last season, scoring 26 goals in 32 top-flight appearances, and his efforts helped the Parthenopeans secure their first Serie A title in 33 years. The 24-year-old will not be resting on his laurels from last season, having scored 6 goals in 10 appearances this campaign. In addition, his excellent performances have attracted interest from Europe's top clubs during the summer transfer window, with Manchester United and Liverpool. Chelsea Osimhen's contract expires in 2025, and the Super Eagles striker has refused to extend his contract, leading to speculation that he could leave the Italian champions. According to Caught Offside, despite spending more than £1 billion on new players for Todd Boehly in 2022, Chelsea want to strengthen the striker and have identified Osimhen as their main target. Osimhen is one of Chelsea's top targets for 2024, and they are keen to take advantage of the complex contract negotiations between the player and his current club Napoli, reports Caught Offside. Napoli adamantly refused to sell Osimhen in January, but Chelsea are now keen to put in the leg to be at the front of the queue to sign the 24-year-old next summer. Napoli could try to strengthen their position by agreeing to include a release clause in Osimhen's potential new deal, but at the moment it does not appear that all parties have agreed on a new deal. They are believed to be looking to take advantage of difficult contract negotiations between Osimhen and Napoli. Chelsea need to sign Ivan Toney more than Arsenal, according to former Blues right-back Glenn Johnson. The forward has been linked with both London clubs, and Johnson believes his old side can sign him cheaper than Brentford and number 039 asked. Toney's 8-month ban for breaching FA and betting rules does not expire until mid-January. Brentford have kept hold of the star and want him to stay at least until the end of the season. But his contract in West London expires in just over 18 months and number 039 time, so a decision about his future must be made soon. Arsenal are entering the market for a striker, and Toney's number 1 Johnson, however, feels Chelsea need more of an England international. He also believes that Toney would be better with the playing style of Mauricio Pochettino and Mikel Arteta number 039. I think Chelsea need him more, and he would suit their style of play. Chelsea are clearly planning for the future and will continue to build, but Arsenal are competing now, so it all depends on who Ivan thinks will be competing for more trophies in the next 5 years. Johnson doesn't believe Toney's value has diminished because of his ban. But he says the £100 million asking price is not realistic, and Brentford were only changing hands to see what they could get. That's probably what they hope for, as opposed to what they actually get from Ivan. Brentford know they only have one chance to sell Ivan Toney, and they want to get as much as possible from him. I don't think his price will drop too much because of the ban, because Ivan hasn't been injured in the last 6 months. If this was the injury we were talking about, surely Brentford could not accuse Ivan like that. If Ivan is fit, it won't be a problem going forward, but I still think £80 to £100 million is too much for him. Every forward needs a hat trick, but Nicholas Jackson needed one more than most. Also against Chelsea and Tottenham? It's a dream come true. Coming into the game on Monday night, Jackson was at the center of a lot of criticism from Chelsea fans. The 22-year-old striker, who arrived for £30 million in the summer transfer window, has just 2 goals in 9 Premier League appearances. Jackson's composure in front of goal and his wastefulness were sometimes much criticized. There were even times on Monday when he might have needed to hold back a little more, but more importantly, Jackson scored his first hat-trick for Chelsea since leaving Spain. Yes, it was against 9 men after Tottenham picked up 2 red cards either side of halftime. Yes, it was a ridiculously high score given the circumstances and how the game played out. But that means very little to Jackson. His Chelsea teammates will be delighted to see him score goals again, whatever the circumstances. Cole Palmer, who scored his 3rd goal for the club since arriving in the summer on Monday night, has been the man creating the majority of opportunities for Jackson. And he knows, despite his hat-trick, his teammate can do a lot better. And obviously it and #039's been a difficult start for him, there and #039's no hiding it, but he was brilliant tonight, Palmer said to Sky Sports on Jackson.